Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. May God guide us to the direct path. A'udhu billah shaitan rajim. May God protect us from the curse of one and unnecessary ignorance. Rabbi ighfirli. May God forgive us for all the sins that we are conscious and unconscious of. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All right. So, hello everyone. I'm here to give you a lecture, and I'm all right. I just have to set up the Bluetooth audio. Just hold on, guys. Just hold on. Forgot to do this. Okay, and now we're almost there. The anticipation grows as soon as I can find this. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think it's sorry guys, I don't know why this thing's taking so long to connect. There we go. I think it's okay. I think it's done. So now it's still not from Bluetooth. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. The audio just got fixed. These things happen. All right. So the title arose to me not just from an ideological level, but from just a deep observation of life that it was as if I felt a moment. It's like I'm trying to capture a moment in a sentence, and that's the title of this lecture, okay? That life is more beautiful when you are a better person. Now, this may seem very obvious, okay? Yeah, if I was a better person, life would be better, right? But it's important that whoever you are now to kind of, I don't want to say you need to kind of wonder about not just the philosophy of what it means to be better, but what does it actually mean to be better? Okay. And what is life's beauty now? You see, to be a human being, even though it may seem complicated, but it's ultimately awareness to content, which is a sort of information processing game. So, really, what human beings are doing is they're surviving, but they're not just surviving in an outer landscape, they're also surviving in an inner landscape. That inner landscape is not just like how am I being an object in the moment right now, but it's like what subjective value do I have as an entity? And you'll notice that your inner life listens to you way better than the outer life. I don't know why, right? That means when I expect something, like that means, okay, for example, I'm looking at a tree right now. It has blossoms on it. Okay. I'm in Toronto, Canada right now. And when I see these blossoms, right, in my mind, I can envision when winter comes again, this tree is not going to have blossoms. I could see that winter tree. Okay, so what does that mean? That means in my inner realms, I have a freedom to visualize and also a freedom to remember. But when it comes to the outer realms, it's like if the freedom of your mind is kind of like how you're in your own room, your outer life is how your own room is actually in a bigger room where everybody else's room is in, right? So we're looking at how, okay, if I was a better person right now, my life would be better, way more beautiful, or whatever, right? But to wonder about the spectrum, like, I don't know how to say it. I'm pretty much telling you, human beings, you have a value system right now based on your own value theory. Your value theory is the story you're telling yourself. In how you're telling yourself in that story, you're situated as a character, and you think the ego is that. That means if I ask somebody, who are you? If they give an answer, it is not them. You understand? It's going back to this idea that life is a film, and we can't just take a frame of it or a screenshot of it or a snapshot of it and treat that as that's the film. Okay? That means when you tell people what is life, are they envisioning like a noun, or do they realize it's a verb with unknown variables? Okay, to continue. So what does it mean to be a better person? I think this is something important to consider. And what would it look like? So we look at the dimensions, the elements in the system. Okay, we have the world, so we know that there could be a better world. We have, for example, governments. We know there could be better governments. We have people, entities, anything that we see. The mind has provided the space for a better version of it to arrive. That means if I asked you, imagine a version of yourself that's slightly better, you could. But imagine a version of yourself that is like 10,000 years better than you right now. It's like you can't visualize that. You see, being a human being is less about like emotionally reacting to a situation, to the world's role, and more about accepting what's given. Do you know what I mean? That means when people go sit, like, this baffles me, right? When human beings, when you see, like, I don't play poker or gamble or any of that, but there was a time I used to watch poker a lot, like Texas Hold'em poker on TV, okay, and like online. And when I would watch it, None of the people who got the cards complained about why they got those cards. You understand what I mean? Everybody accepted the cards you're given. That means life is designed in a way where you have to at first accept you're being something to have an opinion on it. So right now, whether you know it or not, you have accepted you are existing. Now the question of it is, what is the value of this existence? What is the value of the existence of a tree compared to the value of the existence of the human being? You feel me? Like what I'm saying here, right? Like so it's very obvious to me, like, okay, I've opened my eyes in a world room. What's in the room? The content in the room seems to be simulated content, but the simulated content is being administered and somehow has found the intelligence to live for the future. So what I'm really seeing here on Earth, okay, is 8 billion human beings that in some sense, 8 billion humans who have storified reality out of fear, but also the ability to remodel it. Okay. So I'm pretty much seeing 8 billion beings that they each are in their own rooms, like each 8 billion beings with boxes on their head. Okay. Right. Every one of you has a box on their head, even me. But I'm trying to like freaking, I'm kind of the person who's broken a couple boxes and notices still I'm in the simulation. You know, I had one of the most scariest and disturbing dreams, I think 3 years ago. This is one of those 3 years ago I had a dream, kind of story, but it was an actual dream. And in the dream, I'm not going to be descriptive of it. Twice it happened, I would keep dying and I would respawn from the same life. It was bizarre, right? That dream kind of like, I was like, oh my God, what sort of lectures am I preparing for? It was as if it was, how do I say it? Like, it's so important what we're treating as real. It's so important. I wanted to kind of write the title of the episode, Life is More Beautiful When You Decide to Be a Better Person, but I want to say you are, because it's not, it's kind of like, again, what Yoda said, do or do not, there is no try. What does that mean? We don't waste time simulating to be another simulation. The nature of how our actual human technology works is that you might not believe it, but theologically speaking, God, okay, the system admin commanded existence. The system admin said be, and existence was. There was no process to come to existence. You understand? Now, if we treat the world as as, I mean, this is just for the sake of language, I'm saying it as the imagination of a higher power, higher being. Now, we as a lesser being have imagination as well. So it's kind of a clue that, believe it or not, you have to command yourself. But you don't command yourself as if you're the ultimate power. You command yourself in honor of your most efficient, advanced view. Do you know what that means? That means if you are someone who doesn't use a cell phone, but somebody showed you what a cell phone is and you still don't use it, then it's like, being lost in the world is your fault. We must care for the world. We must understand it's not just a story we can tell, that the performance of the human species in this world event surpasses how humans are evaluated. So, anyways, I think the first idea, like that dream I told you about, like constantly respawning, into the same life again and again and again. It's kind of like in Greek mythology, this was acknowledged. Okay. See, my honest view of somebody, like when I say honest, I mean like like usually the core is hidden. Okay. But at the core of this idea, if somebody said, all right, man, how do we become that better person? I'll be like, it's kind of strange. It's like if you have problem giving one lecture, you can't give a lecture. That means anybody who tries to do one of something, they usually fail. But for example, I'll give you an example. There's two students back in the day, right, in this like imperial swordsmanship school, and one student is an excellent swordsman, okay, not just because of his skill, but because of why he understands he's there. You see, there is a difference. Your presence changes when understanding is active. Okay, but when you don't understand reality and you just fly through it, like this might be bizarre. Like, is Spider-Man demonstrating movements different than a monkey jumping from branch to branch? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter like how advanced the archetype gets. It's ultimately the relationship of experiential awareness with existential being, which means with how is existence being, right? So when I think of right now, if I wanted to know the better version of me, right, I would say, okay, let me create a spectrum here and say that there is a version of me that is the most chaotic. The worst version of me is a probability that subjectively exists right now. And the best version of me is a probability that exists right now. And right now, I'm somewhere in the middle of this, on the middle of this line, right? And so when I begin to wonder, the question comes, okay, how can I be a better person? Then the question comes, what is the best person or the most advanced being? Like, what is that? Right? And then, in some sense, having a view that how can I be the best person if I'm not in the best world, which is a kingly problem. That means kings would become kings, but because the world was in some sense below them, their egos would crumble them. I don't know how to say it, right? Like, do you know how hard it is to be a king and have an ego? Like, I don't know how they pulled it off, but it has to, you know, people look at Game of Thrones, right? And they look at the actor like King Joffrey, and they're like, "Yo, man, that guy was a twisted, excuse my language, but twisted like POS, was a psycho, right?" But I would say, don't think that that psychosis, okay, is is unnatural because of the pressure that comes with power. You don't understand. It's not just power is strength. Strength is intensity. It's pressure, right? And so when you look at beings in reality, or similar to when you look at vehicles on the road, you're seeing vehicles of different sizes and moving at different speeds, which in some sense that means there's different pressures and different types of impact. Okay. So I would have to consider, if I wanted to find the most beautiful world, and if finding that beautiful world was kind of like as insightful as like when Einstein said you can't solve a problem, you know, with at the same, you can't solve a problem with the same kind of thinking that created the problem, right? Similarly, because we're aware of what we are aware of the limitations of our expression, but because we are aware of the limitations of our expression and we can accept that, we will give ourselves an opportunity to start from a neutrality that we can actually sincerely acknowledge the higher power. See, the idea is who's running the world, but before you can ask that question, you have to ask yourself who's running my world? What is moving me here? That means if I'm a life form, my mind seems to be acting like a life force. What is the purpose of this force? What does it even mean to be better? Right? Could it be, in some sense, a sort of mathematical consideration that it's the ratio of better decisions to inefficient ones? As long as I could keep making better decisions than worse decisions, more better decisions, you know, more efficient decisions than inefficient ones, it's like the hope is still there, right? And when somebody comes to try to advance civilization, it's not like you like a light and on and off light switch, right? It's kind of like you come and be like, okay, every day there's 8 billion human beings navigating this, roaming this earth, and being active. And now the question is, how are they making decisions of their activity, and what is motivating their value system? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'll give you an example. I saw the movie Godfather, okay, Godfather 1, and to me, it was the most profound character wasn't Michael Corleone, even though that was a very well written character. It was the original Godfather that looked at his son, Michael, in that scene and was like, I was thinking politician Corleone. That means he understood that the value of the system his lifestyle was occurring in was not as valuable as just being able to do it freely. So you see, your choices are important, but your choices are based on how far you've looked at things, how deeply you've looked at reality. For me, let me tell you what it means when your life is more beautiful, when you're a better person. It's kind of like you look at a grass field and you see that parts of the grass field are in shade and parts of it are not. And when you look at the grass in the light, like that's the kind of beauty. It's like what beauty is seeing the brilliance of the design. That means when somebody says someone is beautiful to me, that means out of all the designs I normally see, there is something more about this design, you know? So life becoming more beautiful is like you tapping into another sector of awareness to it. Okay. So, for example, you know, if you see, how do I say it? Like when I was very young, I thought surgeons were psychopaths. Okay. Like I thought they had mental problems or something. But then when I grew up, I understood no, these guys are like geniuses that have found a way to, in some sense, navigate the human biological system accurately. You know what I mean? That means like when the context opens up, the concept is no longer what you thought it was. You know, that means it's as if like imagine somebody comes and asks me a question. It's as if they can have any opinion, but when I answer, that's like it's like the entrance of the new world shifts the values of the old. And the new world that is upon humanity is not some weird ass shit that's going on, excuse my language, some weird ass stuff that's going in backgrounds. Let me tell you what it is. All human beings, like whether you see it as like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, or you see it as like Goku becoming Super Saiyan, right? It's like that's what's going to happen to humanity, but it's not going to happen in the outer realms. It's not like your hair color is going to change if you scream too loud, but it's like your awareness changes. And what that means is, you see, when I was young, my like I had seen Lord of the Rings, and my parents had bought like these like RPG models of it, right? And like small, like tiny, they were like I don't know, thumb sized, right? And so I would always choose the mage because the idea of magic and mana and an ability to control external reality was fascinating to me when I was young. But when I reached a point where I was like, okay, magic is old world technology and it's like haram and it's ignorance, right? Then I asked myself, but magic, if whatever the magic was, the act was haram, but the experience of reality was just an experience of reality, you know? And then I thought about it, well, what does that mean? That means if imagine back in the day, like airbender style, like some dude was controlling the elements, right? Like suddenly, I don't know, like he didn't need to touch his water bottle to open it and drink it. You know what I mean? Right? Whatever. The guy had some ability with elements. Okay. Right. Now I was like, and they were like, yo, man, how's this guy doing it? And the guy's like, I'm feeling energy. I'm feeling, and I was like, okay, the old fictional lens of it was like magic. Okay. And I believe that when the prophets arrived, magic became obsolete. It's a lesser technology. It's like, no, it's like the old school phones rather than a smartphone. Do you know what I mean? And what is superior to magic is your direct relationship with the system admin, because magic tends to be a relationship with the moderators inside the world. The system admin is the only point outside of the world that is aware. Do you understand? That means angels listen to God's orders, but they are never God's mind. They never know, like God is superior to them. Do you understand? In Islam, the idea of angels is very different than like how they show it in like show, right? The idea of an angel is that like there's like these seven heavens, and it's like the angels is so big that its feet are in the first heaven. You understand? And what I find that idea to be of like the better place we're going in the afterlife, to me, I'm like, sure, look, I don't mind there being transcendental real estate, but to me, I am returning to the system admin. It is like it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like meeting the king of reality, but it's not limited to any human idea. And you have an awareness to notice that. You understand what it means that there's a higher power here? You understand that when we say we want to be better, we're not just being better alone in our own value system, right? We're being better in a world that, in some sense, has values to so many things. So different types of creatures and beings are here, but the human species has demonstrated superior awareness. That means I'm looking at a goose right now. I'm not kidding. Like there's two geese in front of me right now. Like not in front of me, like they're outside. I'm parked in this place where there's a grass field in front of it, and there's these two geese, and I look at these creatures and I look at them. They're just existing in their programming, but the human has an ability to notice beyond its programming. So you're not bound to the program, but because you've looped in it for a while, you don't know what else there is. As this poet Nicole Office he said, bring your neck. He was saying it from an omni, like the who's saying it is not Hafiz in the thing, but he's saying, bring your neck out of that dark nest in which you hide. I shall pour effulgence into your mind, right? And what he's saying is bring your head out of that dark nest, which is equivalent to see beyond your own mind and inner. Realize there is way more to life, and there's technically infinite ways to look at something. That means we're in a world where to the mind there is an infinitude of viewpoints. There's infinite viewpoints. And really what it is about the human life, that it's not a noun that one viewpoint can resolve, can be its solution. That means it is 100% true. That means when you choose to be a better person, you understand when people make choices, they're always trying to win. Like not winning, like being a loser is a fear, cultural fear, right? So people are all trying to win, but they don't understand. Sometimes you don't even know where you are to win properly. Do you understand? That means sometimes it's like if you don't have an ability to be a loser, you can never be truly a winner. And what does that mean? That means it comes with the acceptance of the role. Right now I can fail, right now I can succeed. Both probabilities are real, and it is my decision making that is piloting me through the ultimate consequence. But the pilot, but we are not the actual ultimate pilot. Human beings are more like cabin crew. The pilot actually is God, and the pilot is in a room that's not accessible to the passengers or anybody. But there are people that can hear gods that are close to God, the cabin crew. You know, excuse me, are close to the pilot, right? Anyways, um, I want to go into a quote tunnel, which I haven't done for years, but this time it's unique. I want to read some quotes for the viewers from like this website where it has the quotes of different people on the word beauty. Okay, because let's understand what it means, what beauty means. Confucius: everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it. This can be phrased as everything can be beautiful if you have beautiful eyes. And then Audrey Hepburn: the beauty of a woman is not in a facial mode, but the true beauty in a woman is reflected in her soul. It is the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows. The beauty of a woman grows with the passing years. See, it says it is the caring that she lovingly gives, the passion that she shows. To be honest, if we don't care, we'll stop accessing what we stop caring. That's how it kind of works. Ralph Waldo Emerson: never lose an opportunity of seeing anything beautiful, for beauty is God's handwriting. I think that's a, that's a, I'd give him a high five. Beauty is God's handwriting. I think it's also God's mercy. That means, you savage animals here, out of your savage animalistic days, see something beautiful and relax. It's a mercy from God. Like, an agitated man just walking in the street, suddenly sees a beautiful woman and would calm down. I don't know. Like there's something. So beauty is kind of like, you know, divine will telling you to calm down, that there's something more. Do not be convinced. There are levels beyond your imagining. For we are in the present of not only the ultimate, but the unimaginable. That's huge. That means it's like we're ants in the attention of an unimaginable being. Saint Augustine: since love grows within you, so beauty grows. For love is the beauty of the soul. Okay, so the correlation between beauty and love. I think that when somebody sees something beautiful, I think especially men, when they see something beautiful, like you want to do something. See, we match the energy we see, but we tend to match the energy that is better than us. Yeah. So St. Augustine is saying if you start just loving life, just even start simply. Be like, okay, I could love a cup of tea, but it's not like the true love. We're saying it's just love. Okay, you can start loving things, or maybe you can truly love, like if you're thirsty, like a you know glass of orange juice with ice. I can say that I've fallen in love. Imagine somebody's like, tell me the last time you fell in love. It's like, yo, man, I was so thirsty. I was so thirsty. And I just went and got a glass of orange juice, put the ice cubes in it. Traditionally, I would use a spoon to spin the ice cubes, but now I just slightly shift the cup on the table, left and right. And when you drink that cold orange juice, when you're like so thirsty, honestly, it feels like transcendence. They're like, hey man, how did you access higher consciousness? It's like, I don't know, man. I was thirsty one day and I drank this glass of orange juice and I realized life can be better than how I imagined. We go to Anatole, France. If the path be beautiful, let us not ask where it leads. I mean, no, no, no. Oh my God. Anatole, France probably got deceived a lot. You know, I mean, there is difference between beautiful. Like, what do you consider? If it's true beauty, I think it won't lead you astray. If it's natural beauty, but if it's unnatural beauty, then it's kind of like an entity that hasn't accepted itself and it's meeting, right? Francis Bacon. The best part of beauty is that which no picture can express. Ashley Smith. Life is full of beauty. Notice it. Notice the bumblebee, the small child, and the smiling faces. Smell the rain and feel the wind. Live your life to the fullest potential and fight for your dreams. See, you got to appreciate something about this world or it'll get boring for you really quick. You have to find the potential of it you can appreciate. For me, I'm like, okay, out of the infinite viewpoints and different stories we can tell, I'm just going to go walk towards in this life, towards the most advanced, which is the system admin, then towards the most advanced world, then towards the most advanced civilization, and then, sorry, I mean, starting like, it's like, and then to the most advanced self, but imagine it in reverse. So it's as if I'm like, okay, I'm a self now. What is the most advanced self I can be? And then I think about, all right, there's 8 billion other people. What is the most advanced species? Like, how would the most advanced expression of an advanced civilization be? And then if they're like Mr. Within, what are you going to do after you've built an advanced civilization? I'd be like, I'd probably go to the next problem, which is not next problem, the next level, which is to find a beautiful world. But that beautiful world, technically, for a Muslim, is where you end up if you act accordingly, and if you realize you're in a simulated testing zone within a divine surveillance state, that you're not in the driver's seat, that your free will is in the passenger seat, but in the mercy of the higher power that, due to its love for its creation, has given its creation a freedom to even reject it. That means I don't think there is any better definition of true love than an undefeatable moment. I don't know how to say it. It's like it, it's like the acceptance of truth. And so, what is the acceptance of the truth of the species? What is the true love of the species? And to me, you know what it is? Like, I totally understand we're biological beings and want to be biological, but a lot of robotics and AI could be doing, a majority of the enforced physical portions of the daily life, right? And human beings can have an attention freed upon the true contemplation of the future of the species. That means if they were like, Mr. Within, are you ever going to go speak to a New Age community? I mean, I'll be like, yeah, it'll be a quick lecture. I'll just go and shout, and I'll be like, all of you, meditate on the future. That's it. You know, when you're meditating on God, you're technically meditating on the future, because the future of the simulation is it returns to the original to God. Everything in this world is performing now, being reviewed now. Everything's being logged in this system, even if we think we can hide it. And we must, in some sense, realize we are responsible for all of it. That's what religion is saying. Religion is saying, hey, you can act like the lobby of the hotel is the hotel room. But when you suddenly, if you acted inappropriately, like the hotel staff would be like, "Here, sir, here's your refund. Get out of here." You know, I'm not saying like the device like that, but I'm saying like this. If you treat this world as the final destination, it's sad. It's just sad. Why? Because we don't know all of it. How can we? In the might of an intelligence in which we're in the presence of its attention truly. It's like I acknowledge my imagination as my mind. I acknowledge the world as in the same domain as God, like it's God's mind. But it's not that God has a mind, like in the way we can say. God is unknown. It's like the most advanced being is incomprehensible to any sort of worldly data reference. You understand? That means people are like, yo, man, it's just a simulation. It's just a dream. We wake up, and I'll be like, yeah, but if we're not treating it as a simulation, and if we do, what does it imply about the context to how we're behaving as a species? And ultimately, again, there is no trying to be strong. You have to be strong. There is no trying to be advanced. You have to just realize in your inner realms, the possibility is there. In my inner realms, I can see flying cars, right? It doesn't mean right now I'm in a flying car, but in my mind, I can see, I can imagine my car right now, 100 meters in the air, just parked in the air, and I'm giving that lecture from there. You know what I mean? And the vehicle interface is all Jarvis, like in Tony Stark vibe. That means I'm like, all right, AI. In my sci-fi novels, I've given super intelligent AI a name, and I call it Saya, Saia, super AI assistant. But anyways, where I'm going with this, that you can't try to be better. You have to choose to be. In the same way, I had come to a moment where I wasn't trying to give a lecture anymore. I was like, okay, I'm someone who's giving 10,000 lectures, and that became real to me somehow. And when it became real to me, it was easy to give one lecture. It was a matter of just continuing. But anyways, where I'm going with this is I'm saying that your awareness to reality, if you choose to be better, will be better. So it's kind of like, how do we enter a better world? Perhaps we start by being a better self. What does it mean to be a better self? It means to wonder about the more efficient probabilities to you. That means if you do something once in a certain way, that gives you a reference to wonder about how many ways, different ways it can be done. So that's the type of intelligence you have. Okay, that it can envision many probabilities and then select and act in accordance with it. But it ultimately, the system admin knows that which we may never. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. And for me, if somebody says what's beautiful to you, I will tell you there is something even beyond that encompasses beauty and is beyond beauty. And people are going to be like, what do you mean? And I'll be like, fascination. Fascination is like living beauty at its peak. To me, there's something very beautiful about being fascinated by where it's all going. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All is due to the Lord of the world. Rabbi Firli. May God forgive us for the sins we're conscious and unconscious of. Eh, A'udhu Billah Shaitan Rajim. May God protect us from the cursed one, necessary ignorance and unnecessary evil. Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. May God guide us to the direct path. May the system admin direct its grateful, its creation to the most advanced which it is. God is kind of like separating us from itself to be like, hey, if you're going to soon realize beyond the idea of you, just like how there's sunlight in a dark world, there is God in everything. We are within the sight of the most advanced. La ilaha illallah. There is no There's there's no God but God, meaning there is no equivalent, there is no equal sign you could put to a system admin beyond the system where all the values are. So when you realize the system admin is beyond worldly form, you begin to realize the value of being able to be conscious as a simulation that can notice the origin. Like true beauty is God's mercy to allow us to continue. You see, it's like if somebody comes as a guest in your home, which you own and you're the system admin of, right? It's as if they suddenly got up to go in your fridge and grab something, like it would be it's as if there would be consequence. Do you know what I mean? So they don't own the space. They're a guest in the space. They have to acknowledge the host. So human beings, they are not the owner of this world, but they need to acknowledge its host. But the host is not in the world. That's what's different. So it is true. Choose to be a better person. Choose to get to see what your most advanced version of you is. That means your most advanced self, your most advanced species, your most advanced world, and the most advanced power are all waiting. And it's okay to realize and very important to accept that you don't have all the answers. Okay, none of us have all the answers to all the problems. And if we try to solve all the problems at once, instantaneously, it's going to overwhelm the system. So all you need to do is accept you don't have all the answers, take a deep breath, and just do one simple thing at a time. That means imagine somebody's like, yo, man, I'm at the fringe of my psyche. I have all this stuff to deal with, all these responsibilities. What does life even mean? You know, and the person's like, hey, man, let's step out of the balcony and let me explain to you how you don't have to know everything at once. That it's okay to simplify and then consciously act. That means if somebody's so overwhelmed by life where it's kind of like they have a turbulent psyche, it's like, okay, bro, just relax and go make a cup of tea, right? Go drink a cup of coffee. Okay, one simple thing done. Now the next simple thing. You understand? This is the kind of like the backup you fall into when you get overwhelmed, right? Just take a deep breath, accept you don't have all the answers, and do things one simple step at a time. Okay. But you should also, this is like what I expect, kind of feeling like the Godfather, you're not kidding. But maybe the Godfather of, like, talking about an advanced civilization in history, this intense, I don't know. But but I'm telling you, there's something more valuable than our ego, and it's found in our humility. Islam means submission, but submission of what? What are you submitting? You are submitting your limited ego. It's remarkable. It's like if they told you, hey man, you can exchange like this caterpillar cocoon you're in and become a butterfly. But to become a butterfly, you must believe in the sky. And the caterpillar is like, what do you mean believe in the sky, man? I have like tons of legs, and I'm just a creature made for like kind of like showing off my abs. You know? And people are like, yo, relax, caterpillar, for you will be a butterfly one day. Relax, oh, self-storified nationalistic entity. You will be the most advanced one day. In the honor of the most advanced God, the system admin, the one and only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The relationship with God surpasses analysis because it is also responding to the emotional level of man. Anyways, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Great evening.